Grrr. What's good, y'all? It's Pine. We back. Second video today, locked in. Spliff on my hand. I started rolling a spliff from the other vid, but I was too locked in, so I ain't finished rolling it. But I'm locked in. I'm finished rolling it now. Hope y'all doing good. Let's just get straight into it. SpongeBob tried to warn you. Now, SpongeBob is one of the greatest, whether you liked it or not, Muddy, one of the greatest cartoons of all time. And there's a lot of hidden things in his mug. Like, first of all, the fact that he's gay, like, they was pushing the gay joke out early. Well, actually, I don't know. He actually wasn't gay until, like, now. Now they just allowing everybody to be gay and they put in all the shows and junk. Don't got nothing to do with me, Mud. I ain't a kid no more, so I don't watch it. But for your kids,
people online say something like, SpongeBob warned us, or SpongeBob predicted everything.
I understand that Spanish. That say I was. Yeah, I'm getting bilingual trying to show you, Muddy.
Comment about Squidward becoming the most
I'm really bilingual, though. I've been locked in on my Spanish.
The cheap boss we all hate in the office. Those memes feel true, even
like I'm Squidward type shit.
Why.
Like I'm half SpongeBob, half Squidward.
Like Gumball or South Park or anything from modern Cartoon Network, there's a huge difference. All those shows announce their warnings. They point straight at real-world issues, be it elections, internet culture, corporations, and build the entire episode around it. SpongeBob, it never did that. Hillenburg avoided topical writing completely. Yet somehow, Bikini Bottom feels more and more relatable the older you get. But again, if SpongeBob wasn't reacting to the world around us, how did they still manage to warn us about life? Whatever it was, it's been sitting in plain sight since the
Do whatever you want, man.
For a cartoon that takes place underwater, Bikini Bottom feels suspiciously familiar when you look at how everyone works, or doesn't work. SpongeBob treats his job like it's his calling. Squidward treats it like a job, and Mr. Krabs treats it like a gold mine. For a lot of kids growing up with SpongeBob, the Krusty Krab was the first image of what adult work life looked like. Especially when you rewatch the episodes now.
I knew it was gonna be like how Squidward is.
Anymore. As a kid, the Krusty Krab training video looked really funny because it looks like a cheap infomercial with some very improper jokes.
Once
I remember that episode.
Poop, you'll understand your place at the Krusty Krab. But what does poop mean?
But as an adult, it really feels like something your boss would actually make you watch on your first day, especially if you're working in retail. The corporate jargon, the fake enthusiasm, the constant reminder that employees are replaceable.
That's why I don't really like working with people
that doesn't care if you break. Of course, the episode doesn't actually say anything.
Because I have to act like I care.
It just shows you a workplace where
and not one bit of me
appreciation is optional,
cares.
And the only person who wins is the guy counting the pennies in the office. And SpongeBob, being SpongeBob, eats it up. His identity fuses with a minimum wage job that rewards him with nothing but an Employee of the Month photo on the wall.
Literally.
In the modern season, it got wild.
They say, oh, you get these benefits at jobs and shit. Oh, you get these benefits. You get this, you get that.
It's about when Krabs
You're a slave, Muddy. I guess it all is about
5
perspective, but
you
still a slave, bro, working for.
The whole episode is about
it's just modern day slavery.
Out on the street trying to convince himself he's still valuable without the sailor hat uniform. And in the end, Krabs got away with it. It feels uncomfortably real for adults, because at some point, everyone discovers this exact truth. Your workplace may love your enthusiasm, but they love cutting costs even more.
Literally.
Maybe not for 5 cents, but you get the idea. There's also other examples like Krusty Sponge or Squid on Strike that also play with this idea, but those were clearly taking it to the extreme. The interesting part is, these stories never frame themselves as lessons. There's no dramatic music at the end, no lesson speech, no, remember kids, here's how the real world works. It just plays out like another day in Bikini Bottom. That's a part of adulthood almost nobody warned you about. Passion doesn't protect you from exploitation, and loyalty doesn't guarantee stability. SpongeBob showed us that long before any of us entered a workplace. We just weren't old enough to understand what we were looking at. And that was just the first warning. What makes it even harder to see is the fact that SpongeBob almost never complains about any of this. He just powers through it with a smile every single time. But that smile comes with a cost, a big one. Because when you force yourself to stay positive through everything, work, people, pressure, it doesn't make you stronger at all. It's a problem you ignore until it starts hurting you. And that's the next thing
For real.
SpongeBob warned us about without ever saying a word. SpongeBob is the perfect embodiment of a kid being trapped in an adult body. And as kids, we loved that. He was the happiest character in the room. It gave us hope
Grown
that
man.
you could grow up and still stay a little silly. Adult life doesn't have to be like Squidward, right? But if you're really paying attention to SpongeBob, his optimism often becomes the source of his misery. The episode Fun is one of the earliest examples of it. The whole message is simple. Be positive, be friendly, be sponge-like. Just soak it all up. And yes, SpongeBob is willing to be friends with literally anyone, even the town's most notorious recipe thief. But he's also ignoring every red flag that Plankton throws at him. He never notices any lies or manipulation that Plankton plans. I mean, there must be a good reason why everyone was mocking him earlier in the episode.
I think they were
Good
saying
thing
SpongeBob
actually
autistic
learned
too.
something by the end. But the pattern doesn't stop there.
I think he's
It's
gay,
even more obvious in
autistic.
abrasive side.
Um,
SpongeBob orders an aggressive alter ego because he can't say one simple word, no. The entire
Which is
conflict
insane.
exists because he pushes himself into doing favors he doesn't have the time
not the
or
fact that he's
energy
gay and
for.
autistic. I'm
But
talking about that he
instead
can't
of
say
setting
no.
boundaries, he replaces himself with a personality that can
Just to
handle
clarify
confrontation
that.
better than he can.
Not that
but
I really
not in a
care.
good way.
No can do, you brainless lab rat.
It's clear that SpongeBob is often trapped by his own positivity, but we didn't really catch that as kids. Because when you're young, being nice is enough. It gets you some friends. But when
Nah,
you
for
grow
real.
up, you realize how draining it is to keep people happy all the time, how quickly your boundaries get stepped on when you don't want to disappoint anyone, and how easy it is to get taken advantage of when you never push back. But again, SpongeBob never warns you outright. He just lives it, smile after smile. Sometimes
Like,
the
I'ma
happiest
just
person in
deal
the
with it
room
type junk.
is the one carrying the most weight. Sadly, SpongeBob's warning about self-boundaries doesn't stop there. Because when you put
Oh,
someone
brother.
that soft around people who never grow, well, you already know what happens next. You get the most dynamic duo in Bikini Bottom.
Wait, was it even that
Patrick
fish
is
that
one of
said
the
it?
most beloved characters in the
remember.
show.
It probably
Lovable,
wasn't though.
Goofy, terrifyingly proud of doing absolutely nothing. He seemed like the perfect best friend back then. Must be nice to have someone that's always ready for nonsense. But now you might be thinking, Patrick starts looking like that one friend that everyone has at least once in their life. The one that never
No.
grows, never listens, and somehow drags you into every bad decision they make. Episodes like I'm with Stupid, it's completely differently now. In the episode, Patrick tells his parents that SpongeBob is dumb so he can impress them.
Patrick, meet me in the kitchen.
Oh, I guess the dummy wants to have a private conversation.
And yeah, wanting your parents' approval, totally relatable. But watching Patrick humiliate SpongeBob without a single
I
ounce
guess
of
so.
awareness, it's rough. There's never an apology, just pure, unfiltered immaturity.
I never
Then
really
again,
cared for
it's
making
only
anybody
possible
proud
because
for real.
SpongeBob let him. He's
Or
the one who
approval from
encouraged
anybody.
Patrick to do it in the first place. This toxic pattern doesn't get any better in later
I mean, I guess a
seasons.
little bit, but not really.
Yours, mine, and mine
When I was
makes
younger,
it
maybe.
painfully obvious. SpongeBob pays for their meal, Patrick eats every last bite of it, demands a toy he didn't pay for, and they actually get one from Krabs. Then he refuses to let SpongeBob touch it, even though SpongeBob bought it. When SpongeBob finally asks for his turn,
And Cuz
Patrick
paid for
acts
it.
genuinely
L
offended.
Mans.
Hand over the toy. It's my turn.
You can't take it. It's not fair.
He honestly doesn't understand why he's wrong, which somehow makes it worse. The breaking point is brutal. Patrick would rather eat the whole toy than let SpongeBob have it for 1 second.
L Mans.
And to top it off, he pays for the replacement toy using SpongeBob's own wallet. Again, with zero awareness. Maybe Patrick isn't a bad friend. He just never grows. And he never will if you let the cycle repeat. That's the warning buried in their entire friendship. At some point, you realize certain people can't come with you into adulthood, simply
Oh,
because
dear.
they stopped while you kept moving forward. Sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who hold you back the hardest. And if you keep carrying them, you won't just lose time or patience, you'll lose direction. You'll start drifting into a life shaped by someone who refuses to shape their own.
Yep.
And once that happens, the next warning becomes almost impossible to ignore. There's a point in adulthood where you look in the mirror and realize you don't fully recognize the person staring back. And I don't mean it like the King Patrick scene.
What did I become?
Just that quiet, uncomfortable thought of, when did I become like this? SpongeBob had that moment too, just dressed as comedy. Not Normal is the most obvious episode about. The story is about SpongeBob trying to be normal to fit in with Squidward's idea of sanity. But even as a kid, watching it is almost unsettling. Looking at SpongeBob losing his laugh, his hobbies, even his pineapple house, all because he thinks being ordinary will make him acceptable. Everyone praises the calm, smooth, respectable SpongeBob at first, and yet everyone, including us, knows it's not him. He's lost everything that made him SpongeBob in the first place. And as ironic as the title sounds, Not Normal isn't a story about normality. It shows us how easy it is to trade personality for acceptance without noticing the swap happening. Speaking of normal, SB-129 clearly isn't a normal choice when talking about identity. But when you look deeper, Squidward's bizarre timeline experience quickly turns into a self-revelation journey. He tries different eras, different environments, different versions of SpongeBob and Patrick, and none of them make him happy. Even when the machine takes everyone and everything away from him, Squidward just discovers that what he's really running from is himself.
It's himself, my boy.
I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. I miss Bikini Bottom.
This theme gets even louder in Spongehenge, because SpongeBob becomes a creature shaped by expectations instead of intention. It's truly a surreal episode with all the jellyfish stuff, but the core lesson is painfully real. Your identity bends slowly, quietly, under expectation. Now, every version of this theme points to the same adulthood realization. If you don't know who you are, you only become who you're supposed to be for other people. But if losing parts of yourself sounds uncomfortable, then you already know what the final stage looks like. Because unfortunately, the most important warning SpongeBob has ever told us doesn't come from the yellow sponge himself. It came from Squidward. Who would have thought? The grumpy neighbor we mocked as kids, the guy who hated fun simply because fun existed near him, somehow became the most relatable person in the room. He never was the villain. He's just an adult who ran out of energy and stopped pretending that things would get better.
He's just
you
trying
can
to
see
get
the pain
through.
everywhere, especially when it comes to episodes like Artist Unknown. Squidward is struggling with identity. He finally gets the chance to be something more than a cashier.
Mr. Tentacles, Professor of Art.
It's the first time he feels respected, even if it's all in his head. And then SpongeBob walks in and effortlessly does everything Squidward has been chasing his whole life. Perfect circles, flawless sculptures, genius by accident. It's funny to see him failing like that until you're the one in his tentacles. One of the biggest heartbreaks you could get in life is knowing your lifelong hard work almost means nothing when it compares to pure natural talent. That's why episodes like Band Geeks look so inspiring when you're an adult. The entire Bubble Bowl concert is built on desperation.
Oh, I remember this.
Squidward lies about having a band because the truth is too painful. He hasn't accomplished anything he's proud of. He's stuck in a routine he hates, surrounded by people he can't relate to, in a town he never wanted to be in. And then Squilliam shows up, the reminder of everything Squidward could have been if his life had turned out differently. So when he accepts that Bubble Bowl offer, it's about preserving his dignity, about proving that his adult life wasn't one long, pointless failure. His triumph is beautiful, partly because you realize how rare moments like that actually are for adults. The shadow of mediocrity finally wins. Squidward truly shows us that's adulthood without all the plot armor. SpongeBob might be dealing with exploitation, toxic optimism, and identity issues, but Squidward lives in the aftermath of all of it. He is the warning, the version of you that crumbles quietly when life keeps asking for more than it gives. The version you don't notice creeping in until one day you wake up and the smallest noise ruins your morning before it even starts. Squidward isn't who you want it to be, he's who you become if you're not careful. So if SpongeBob really warned us about anything, it was about adulthood. All those years under the sea, the show was pointing to our future all along. Work, friendships, identity, burnout. The pieces were always there. We just couldn't understand them until we finally lived long enough to match what we were seeing on screen. SpongeBob never tried to teach lessons the way the other shows did. It just mirrored adulthood so perfectly that the warnings blended into the background, which kind of makes Bikini Bottom look different now. A world full of characters coping in their own strange ways. And honestly, most adults kind of do that too, right? But if you've been following my videos, you already know one person who never even bothered pretending. He was confident enough in his darkness that he didn't need a mask. In my last
He ain't
video,
even
I talked
care.
about
He just
his
want that
darkest
money
episode
on.
ever made. The one where every filter
That-
comes off
eh.
and you finally see who he becomes when fear takes over. And honestly, after everything we've talked about today, that episode hits even harder. So if you want to see how deep SpongeBob's warnings can really go, that video breaks it all down. Thanks for watching.
Nah, WVid. WVid. What's your name? Oh, SpongeBob. Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. Straight SpongeBobby.org. Well, sure. At least I know I can come to you, my guy. Let me see. You know, I gotta go to the bomb. It's SpongeBob is basically a dog wrapped in a vibrant short. Yeah. You forget. Nah, it's like, how did he not mention Plankton? Like, Patrick acts stupid, so people don't expect much from him. He has his no, he does have his moment, his moments of intelligence in several episodes where he faces the problems or shows he isn't completely brainless. Oh, I was SpongeBob that turned into a Squidward, and that's I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's not life, but life can put you there, buddy. Like, just don't be poor. It's not just that, bro. It's not a lot about the money. Let's clarify the early song. Yeah. Even though Steven passed his legacy. Yeah, RP. He said, I love how Jim, the original fry cook, tried to warn Squidward and tried to give him some advice to help better himself in his life, but he didn't take it. Sometimes, bro, you just gotta listen to people. Like, even if, like, I be hearing people, they'll say, oh, don't listen to nobody that's not in the position that you want to be in. And I say just take that with a grain of salt, cause it's like, realist. I mean, yeah, in a way, but at the same time, it's like you could get good advice from anybody. That don't mean you gotta take it though, but advice is advice, bro. You never really know what people been through, so it's like they might just have the answer you need. But WVid, shout out Sponge Truth. Make sure I keep doing what I gotta do. Make sure I keep trying to love. Make sure I keep trying to grow. And just stay locked in, bro. Y'all be safe. Love y'all, man. Love us to the members.